All right, we are heading out to the Fernan multi-gun, and I'm doing 2-gun open today. We are gonna check it out. I think they got a Polish plate rack and a spinner and some other stuff that look pretty cool. So I'm excited. This is my first match since we moved to Idaho, and it's been my first match in many months. So, a little rusty, but we'll check it out and see how we do, man. Should be a good time. Wow, that is a really nice drive in. This was also my first real multi-gun / 3-gun match. While I have shot run and gun and outlaw 2-gun matches, this felt like a real 3-gun in terms of format, rules, and dump boxes. I made sure to show up early to help set up and asked a lot of questions, which I always try to do when I get to a new style of event. The first stage was on the single long-range bay and had a couple steel and a spinner at 100 yards, 3 flasher targets, 1 at 200 and 2 at 300. There were also 2 mini rifle paper targets up close, and then a load of pistol in the other shooting area. And a slorp, which is a 2 slug or 4 pistol hit target that had to be shot in between the 2 shooting areas. My first lesson learned was that I should have engaged the far targets first from kneeling. They were really the only targets that could have been seen from a low kneeling position, but sending it and having a 4 MOA hold would have gotten them out of the way, and then I could have stood to engage the 200 yard and 100 yard targets. I'm usually a lot more methodical with rifle, and here I just sort of came out ripping shots, which is never a good idea for me. Aim and pacing would have been smoother, and I would likely have avoided the holdover mistake I made on the 300 yard targets when I thought they were at 200 due to some confusion I had based on my first read-through of the stage description. I also should have taken advantage of my scope magnification. Usually I run around 10x for something like this, but I had it a bit lower, and it has been a while since I've done some rifle work, so I definitely noticed some poor positioning and breath management. It's funny how a few simple things like this can really drag out the clock. Another thing to note on this match format, the scoring is not hit factor, and each cardboard only needs either 1 A-zone hit or 2 hits anywhere on the target to neutralize. You really notice simple things when you reflect on your stage. Like here, it makes so much more sense not to shoot this far slorp on the move and hit it immediately while I'm stopped outside the shooting area after dumping the rifle. Then I could just reload on the move, sprint over, and have my gun up for the pistol array. And anywhere in the head box counts as an A-zone hit. Hard to do with USPSA habits, but you can totally take advantage of that for a lower round count stage and faster speed benefits, trading some accuracy for speed, which I sort of did on this stage. It's still a good idea to attempt A-zone hits, especially on pistol since it can get squirrely quick. Most folks were just out for a good time and not min-maxing, but good to know either way. I definitely tried to save some ammo and time with pistol headshots on this stage, and practice because zombies. I like that this style of scoring gives you flexibility to engage the targets in your own style. For the rest of the match, I tried to stick to keeping my shots a bit tighter on paper. Stage 2 was awesome and had a fantastic array of targets. Tiny mini squares, knockdown steels, a standard plate rack, as well as a Polish plate rack, which I've seen in videos but hadn't shot before. The flow was really fun for the rifle section, and these mini paper targets are a strong reminder to make sure you are comfortable with your height over bore. And with my piggyback red dot, that's about 5 inches. This rifle is a heavier long-range setup, but it's still really fun and capable, close and fast. These cheap chamber flags are a disaster waiting to happen though, and they sometimes break off in the barrel or chamber. I finally ponied up and bought some legit ones, which were shockingly inexpensive, and I plan to help anyone I see with one of these crummy ones that gave me a hard time here by giving them one of mine and telling them to throw this away. Do yourself a favor and learn from this. Luckily, I was able to get it out since nobody wants to be the guy holding up the match. I felt pretty good shooting here, but my flow and plan execution definitely needs to be sharpened. I also completely failed to realize there were 2 pistol papers in the walkthrough, but there really was a lot to take in. Another funny thing I wouldn't really notice unless I looked back on the footage is how gingerly I take my time to place my rifle in the dump box. I guess that's one of those things that you can toss in a little quicker, but I don't know, I feel like it's nice to be nice to your rifle, even if it costs a little bit of time. I got hung up here just getting sloppy on the trigger and had to rein it back to get my hits. The small squares were a great throttle control piece though. This was really a fantastic and fun array of targets to play with, and I liked the stage design a lot.
Thank you so much. Clear.
Don't forget to reload your mags and hydrate.
Thanks, man. Till I got there. They're tough on the move. Here, I got
This range and multi-gun match definitely has a ton of great targets and tests all sorts of skills. These minis in particular test your height over bore over and over, helping cement it in your mind. Once you've finished getting yourself recovered for the next stage, make sure to jump in and help reset the stages. I always recommend wearing gloves when handling steel due to lead exposure. Same for the dust on the range. Be mindful not to breathe in a lot of that because most of it has lead floating in it. The more people who help break down on the stages, the faster everyone gets to shoot and the faster we get finished. And here's a bit of an up close on both the Polish plate rack as well as some of the other targets. I'm really grateful that they opened this up to 2 guns so folks can come through and get reps and test their gear and skills. I don't normally run shotguns and I don't have a nice 3-gun shotgun, so it's really nice to be able to come in with my rifle and pistol and just lay down some fun reps. I highly recommend coming out and putting yourself to the test. You'll have a blast and all skill levels are welcome as long as you can stay safe. Always ask questions so you know all the options for the stage too, and what is and isn't allowed. Walkthroughs like this are something you get in IDPA, USPSA, and most action shooting matches, but they're not a part of the game when it comes to run and gun matches, which are my absolute favorite style of match. If you are interested in run and gun, check out Pseudo, who has a ton of these match videos. And if you're interested in hosting a run and gun near Northern Idaho, hit me up in the comments.
Can you shoot those ones from back in this box, or no? But you don't have to? Tiny little guys. Down.
On this stage, I had planned to hit the popper that activated the swinger right after the popper on the right, but it had fallen right as I started the stage. It definitely threw me off, as you can see in my confusion when I looked for it in the transition. Then I mistakenly tagged the spinner out of order. I got sloppy on the spinner and should have just made the hits count, but that's part of the mental game I need to work on. Usually I think the RO would have or should have stopped and ordered a reshoot when the activator fell, or just counted it as neutralized. Instead, they had me shoot another shot, which I didn't understand in the moment and thought he was pointing to a target I hadn't hit or something. Why any of my other shots didn't count for that, I'll never know. All in all, it added about 9 seconds to my stage time, which is a bummer, but there are no titles on the line here, just some fun practice. The match was a blast, and helping take down is definitely an expectation, as these are all volunteer run. Also, while I like USPSA, I really find myself gravitating toward practical 2-gun style matches like this. I'm looking forward to shooting more PCSL 2-gun and these multi-gun matches out at Fernan. If you're going to be at one, let me know in the comments and we can squad up. Thanks for watching. Get out to a match and I will see you out there.